Alright, what is going on, guys? Back with another breakdown for UFC Austin. This will probably be my first, real attack on a card in a few months, so looking forward to it. And it is an absolutely stacked fight night card. I'd probably say the best fight night card of the year. I think we can comfortably say that. There were some pretty underwhelming fight night cards in the first part of the year. I think the pay-per-views have been progressively getting better, and that one last night was an awesome card, one of the better UFC cards in a minute. But yeah, there's been some underwhelming events, let's say, in the first half of 2022, but it's really starting to pick up. The UFC typically picks up big time in the summer and they ball out through the fall and winter. But yeah, this fight night card, man, is as good as it gets for a fight night. But this is just one of many great fights at welterweight. We got Jeremiah Wells taking on Court McGee. Both guys are coming off two fight win streaks in the UFC, so both guys trending up. The one is considerably more of a known quantity, and I guess I'll start with him. So Court McGee riding a nice two fight win streak here after having a really tough time. Kind of seemed like he was one loss away from being cut. But gritty veteran, machine. I know people think that is an insult. I don't think it's an insult. I think Court McGee's game is solid. I respect it. And yeah, just very gritty and almost impossible to put away. But yeah, he had that really tough stretch here, and you look at the losses on his record here. We got Santiago Ponzinibbio in 2016, Ben Saunders, Sean Strickland, Diego Lima, Sean Brady in Brady's UFC debut, and Carlos Condit. No matter where any of these guys were at points in their career, there's a lot of respectable losses here. I mean, I know Carlos Condit just retired about a year ago. He was, I hate to say washed, but he was diminished, let's say. And, with Court McGee, again, just gritty veteran, solid all around game, great chin, great cardio, especially since he's getting up there in age. The cardio is great. He's had some fun fights in the UFC. Throwback fight with Robert Whitaker, and again, you just see all these names here. But it's hard to see where he leaps off the page. He's a very competent mixed martial artist. Um, he's better than competent, but he's kind of average, kind of like a master of none. Let's say. I mean, again, his durability and his chin are the strongest attributes of his game, but he's got good wrestling game. He's strong. He's hard to hold down on the ground. Striking wise, a little basic. He's got good kicking game. All right hands. Defense could use some work. He's not super fast, but again, the chin is on point. The cardio is on point for where he's at in his career. And he's riding a two-fight winning streak against Ramiz Brahimaj last time out. I thought that was a winnable matchup for him. Brahimaj is kind of sub or bust in the first round. It's a tough matchup. You're going against a gritty veteran like Court McGee, and he was able to just grind out a comfortable decision there. Claudio Silva, the cardio seems to be kind of abandoning him. He's not too active. He's 39 now, and he hasn't fought since that fight. It was a good win nonetheless for Court McGee, kind of more of the same. But yeah, again, it's tough to see where Court McGee leaps off the page. But what makes this a good fight is it's a very good attribute for the things he is good at, durability and cardio could play a big factor against Jeremiah Wells, who I am very high on. I'm from Philadelphia. I'm very high on the Philadelphia guys, and I try not to let my bias work into it. But you can back it up with numbers, man. I don't. I've picked a lot of these Henzo Gracie Philly guys to win over the years, and I can't tell you the last time that Jim lost. I gotta knock wood. I'm speaking too confidently here, but yeah, Jeremiah Wells, man, is a guy who I like. I think he's very slept on. He's very, very explosive. That's kind of the story with Jeremiah Wells. Explosive on the feet and on the ground. Just throws very powerful punches, looping punches. He's got nasty hooks. Switches stances well. And just very aggressive on the ground. Henzo Gracie Philly, they produce these high level grapplers. And there's a lot of great training partners in that middleweight to welterweight range, which Jeremiah Wells is in. So we got Sean Brady, Andre Petrosky. These are great grapplers who Jeremiah Wells is just in there with. And I've said this before also, CFFC is one of the toughest, I would say the toughest regional promotion in the U.S. to come up in. There's so many UFC caliber fighters that come through CFFC, and there's other ones that seem to be on the cusp of the UFC. They lose one fight and they just get lost in the shuffle. That's how deep the talent is. So, these CFFC guys, they come in and they're UFC ready, and Jeremiah Wells comes in short notice. I think he had a short notice fight fall through, and then they brought him back a few months later against Warley Alves. He looks great in that fight, catches him with this crazy shot while he was switching stances, ends up getting a vicious knockout in the second round. And then against Blood Diamond, we were all over this one. Very winnable matchup for him. Blood Diamond is primarily a kickboxer, started training MMA a couple years ago. It was a tough matchup for Jeremiah Wells. But the thing with Wells is in the UFC, at least in the last couple years, let's say, ever since that loss he had to Vinicus de Jesus, he has just been extremely aggressive. And it's a great thing, right? Like, he steamrolls a lot of opponents. And, I always talk about this too. You got to look at the opponent quality, who they start giving fighters early on. They've given them Jake Matthews and Tim Means. Now they're putting them back in there with Court McGee. And, a lot of these fights for Wells, by the way, have fallen through on the part of the other fighters. So he's definitely hungry and motivated. But, they're giving him another guy with name rep after, I think, just putting him on that Blood Diamond card. But yeah, this is going to be a great test for Jeremiah Wells, because what makes this fight so interesting is you got Jeremiah Wells very explosive in both aspects, but Court McGee very durable, good takedown defense, hard to hold down, hard to put away. Sean Brady, Jeremiah Wells' teammate, albeit it was Brady's debut, he dropped McGee with a hook. Brady was very boxing heavy in that fight. I watched that one tonight, but yeah, he drops off the hook, and Court McGee just pops right back up. It speaks to what we're talking about. And with Jeremiah Wells, he has gone 5 rounds before. That Vinicus de Jesus fight, pretty boring fight. It was 5 rounds. De Jesus had the reach advantage, and he was just kind of backing Wells up for most of the fight, and I think that's just why he got it. There wasn't a whole lot happening. I thought Jeremiah Wells did have the bigger moments, but again, it was a boring fight. I do not recommend watching it. But, Wells has gone to decision before with CFFC, and he's gone 5 rounds. But after that De Jesus fight, he seems to have just become this super aggressive fighter. And I think it all speaks to, the line here on DraftKings, or excuse me, FanDuel is even, -113 either way. On DK, Jeremiah Wells, a small favorite at -120. Court McGee coming back at +100. And I am going to go with Jeremiah Wells here. I know he's kind of an unknown. Um, I feel like if you pay attention to the sport, you know to watch out for this gym. You know to watch out for Jeremiah Wells. But in terms of the wider audience, I still feel like Jeremiah Wells is really underrated. I was surprised to get this price, even though, again, it's a really close fight. It could be very tricky if Jeremiah Wells just empties the tank in the first round. He's not able to get Court McGee out of there. It could be interesting, but at the same time, man, Court McGee just doesn't really do a whole lot to really put a stamp on rounds, whereas Jeremiah Wells does. He does do well against opponents who tire out, but we're kind of assuming that Jeremiah Wells is just going to empty the tank in the first 2 rounds. He might game plan to go a little longer against Court McGee and just be able to at least bank 2 rounds before you just empty the tank. And again, it's like I see Wells landing the heavier shots. I see Wells doing the more damage on the ground, pressing the action. Even if Court McGee is able to get up, I think Wells is going to take him down. Again, very high level grappling gym. And yeah, I think that Wells is a very good value at this price, though again, I see exactly why it's this close, because if Wells gets tired, he's going to be in trouble, but I'm just going to trust that there's more there against an aging but, very game respectable fighter in Court McGee, who's got a lot of durability and a lot of cardio. I just think there's more to Wells's game that will help him either get the decision by just having the bigger moments in the fight, or maybe being the first guy to put Court McGee out. Jeremiah Wells is definitely a killer, man. So, yeah, at -120 on DK, I like Jeremiah Wells. It's going to be around this range. If the line flips over to McGee, which I could see, if people lock in on this, Wells is going to burn out and McGee will just take over and we can get Wells with plus odds, I'm all for it. So I might wait to make a bet, but I'm not sure. If I like the price, I like to pull the trigger. So we'll see in the next couple days. It'll be on bet tip, but yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll have more videos rolling out. Again, this will be the first time really attacking it since coming back. So looking forward to it. Thanks for watching and take it easy.